The following is a special presentation of the First Horizon Green Sports Zone. This is the Gary's Paint and Body Shop Terry Hoese Show. Welcome back to First Horizon's Green Sports Zone, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Gary's Paint and Body Shop Terry Hoese Show, where we cover everything on the hardwood with the South Greene Rebels basketball team. We'll recap the past two games to close out the regular season with David Crockett and Chucky Dope, and we'll look ahead to this week's district tournament. But first, before we do that, as always, we need to go ahead and get a brief break in here first. So we'll be right back here on First Horizon's Green Sports Zone. The Gary's Paint and Body Shop Terry Hoese Show is brought to you by Gateway Ford Nissan, Tommy's Plumbing, Gary's Paint and Body Shop, and by First Horizon Bank.
Here's a twist on your typical banking options. What if, instead of choosing between a big bank or a small bank, you had one bank that's the best of both? That's First Horizon. Big bank muscle with small bank hustle. Big bank convenience and small bank connection. When the best of big meets the best of small, you get it all. To help you on the road to your horizon. First Horizon Bank.
Welcome back to First Horizon's Green Sports Zone, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Gary's Paint and Body Shop Terry Hoese Show, where we cover everything on the hardwood with the South Greene Rebels basketball team. As always, I'm joined here with Rebels head coach Terry Hoese. Coach, how's it going?
Well, good, Tyler. How are you?
It's going well.
Good.
It's a great day. It's the start of the postseason.
Yes, it is.
You get that extra excitement when you wake up in the morning. I know the girls tonight, we've just got, I believe, one game within our footprint in the county. The boys, of course, your game tomorrow night, along with Chucky Dope taking on Johnson County. But just to start off, I mean, the district tournament's here already. How do you feel about it?
It's what you play the whole season for, and I don't know of anybody that doesn't look forward to this time. So it's exciting, and you know, at this time, especially the last few years, we've had an automatic play-in or an automatic bid into that regional tournament and hadn't had to play this game. There's a little bit of extra added pressure for tomorrow night, so you either win or go to the house. So a lot more focus right now, and hopefully playing this extra game and having that, not having that entire week off, maybe we play better at the end. I don't know.
It could, and we'll talk about it more in the second half, though. Let's talk about Crockett and Chucky Dope first. You take on Crockett here on senior night, and then you go to Chucky Dope. Those games last week on Thursday and Friday. Let's talk about Crockett first before we get into what will take up the most of this first half, being the classic down there in Lower Afton with Chucky Dope. But you play Crockett on senior night. It resulted in a 51-34 loss. Take me through that game from start to finish.
We got our tails kicked. They're good.
They are.
I knew they were, and you know, it's enjoyable for anybody. It would be enjoyable for me if I were in that spot. And I have sat back and watched us get better throughout the year. But to sit back and see how much Crockett's improved in 3 months, it's pretty daggum impressive. Coach Tarleton's done a really good job with that bunch.
And it's a bunch, too, that going into the season, you really didn't know what he would have, because whenever a coach, whenever there's a head coaching vacancy that takes a long time to fill, and with the new addition of the transfer portal in high school athletics, a lot of those players leave or they kind of test the water. So you don't really know going into the season. But, yeah, speaking of Coach Tarleton, he has done a great job there. Done pretty well, I think, against county opponents this year. I think he might have went undefeated against all the county opponents. So he might not be in the county anymore, but he's still picking up county wins.
I assure you he will continue to want to play all of us.
I would say he would. He likes those county ties, and he likes getting those wins up on everybody. And then moving into Friday night, Chucky Dope. This will take a long time because of everything that goes into this game. But I'll keep it short and brief here and just ask the question, what were your emotions in that game?
Frustrated in the first half, sat back, and I remember going in at the half and just talking about we were getting out-rebounded. We were missing easy shots. I know with at least 3 layups that we didn't have anybody around us that we just blew that we normally don't do. I mean, we had kids taking shots that needed to be taking shots and weren't making layups. So got a little discombobulated there a little bit and gave up a little bit of a run and look up and you're down. I think we were down, 32-16 at the half or something to that effect.
Yeah.
And out of that 16, I had one kid score 12 of those. So first half was frustrating. And, I really didn't know. I told them in the locker room, I was like, boys, I don't know if we come out and play really well, if there's even enough time to win this thing, but we're going to do what we need to do. So come out in the second half there and got up in the full court and put a little pressure on them. And next thing you know, they've thrown it to us a couple of times, and we've gotten a couple of easy buckets, and that lead starts coming down, and kids get a little glimmer of hope. And once that happened, we started that fourth quarter, and I looked up and we cut it to 11, and I told them, I was like, we're not losing this game. So it took us all the way up to the end. I don't think we had but just a few seconds after we took that lead to solidify it. But man, you can't even begin to explain the intensity and the excitement that goes into something like that, to see something like that take place and to see your kids compete and fight and not just quit.
And what you said at halftime, not knowing if there was enough time, you needed all the time you needed.
Yes,
I think there was little under 30 seconds left after Caden Fillers hits that go-ahead bucket, and then you end up extending it a little bit, and then you have that last attempt by Chucky Doe. I want to ask, from your view, how did that shot look? Did it look a little bit off to the left from yours?
You could tell from where I was at. And
Okay.
I was frustrated because I was just yelling at my kids to stay in front, stay in front, stay in front. And I've already addressed it with one of them. We went for a steal in the backcourt, and that kid whipped it behind his back. And, he got there and had a pretty clean look at it. We did contest it, but he had a shot. And it was probably 4 or 5 feet behind the three-point line. It wasn't like it was a half-court heave. He actually got a decent look at it. So fortunate for us that it didn't go in, because the kid that took the shot could shoot it. So
up in the crow's nest, it looked good as day.
Did it really?
It looked good as day in the crow's nest. That's why I want to ask like a different vantage point, because up where we were, it looked true, but I guess from down on the floor, just where your angle was at, I wanted to see what your vantage point was.
I can assure you, there's been many of those go in against me over the years.
Well, I think back to the game 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. I think that senior group with Hayden Birdwell, Hunter Toth.
Yeah.
You had a game like that at Chucky Doe where Jace Roderick hits the go-ahead bucket, and they take a shot right there. And I think I remember asking you about that shot, and you said that one looked like it was going in.
They all look good at that time normally. And, it's one shot to win a game. And like I said, there's been many times that I have fallen to my knees when that thing goes through the net. So I've seen it go through the net over 26 years. It's not the first time.
And what a big game that was, too, going into it. We talked about how it was the difference between who played in the 3, or who achieved the 3 seed and who achieved the 4 seed, who would avoid Unicoi County and who would get to play Happy Valley, and you end up getting that 3 seed. And we talked about the importance of that, but how truly important was it to be able to get that 3 seed, knowing now that the district tournament's set up and you get to host Happy Valley this week and then play West Greene again for the 4th time with the chance to get revenge on the Buffaloes?
It's you obviously always want to play the lowest seed possible. And in this point, that's Happy Valley, or highest seed, or however you want to look at that. They're the 6. But I will tell you, I don't take anybody for granted at this point. Whoever you had to play, Happy Valley's not a bad basketball team. I went and watched them play Unicoi Monday night at Happy Valley, and they gave Unicoi all they wanted for 3 quarters. So it won't be a walkthrough come tomorrow night by any means. But on the flip side of that, obviously it is our best option. We stay out of that Unicoi bracket, and who knows? West Greene's got a good team. But if we can win tomorrow night and play them for the 4th time, you know as well as I do, it's hard to continue to beat people over and over and over again, especially it's not like those have been 25-point games. They've all been pretty close. Yeah. So I like my chances. And the kids, it's going to mean something come Saturday night. You're looking for a conference championship possibly in that district tournament. And on top of that, that's an opportunity to host that first round of the region. So there is a lot riding on. Obviously, there's a lot riding on tomorrow night. You win or you go to the house. But even come Saturday, if you can win tomorrow night, that Saturday game becomes even more important because you get to host that first round if you win.
Yep. And going back to the Chucky Doe game a little bit more, too, I just want to talk about what it took to be able to come back from that also, because the most you were down by was 19, and then you get down by 19 in the 3rd quarter, and you finish the game on a 32-10 run. What does it take to be able to do that? I know a lot of people, like you said after the game, a lot of shots need to go in, a lot of defense needs to be played, but what extra has to go into such a large comeback like that?
Well, honestly, and I don't mean this negatively towards Chucky Doak whatsoever. It happens. It's happened to my kids in the past. You get in that moment and people were putting pressure on you, and we got up in the full court and were pressuring. I felt like we were able to speed Chucky Doak's kids up, and they took a lot of shots that at the end of the day, I'm sure when Coach Broyles goes back and looks, he will wish they hadn't have taken. You come down and run offense, it's hard for a team to come back from 19 if you can come down and take a minute or two off the clock every trip down the floor. Even if you're not scoring, you take a couple minutes off, and then the other team goes down, misses a couple of buckets, it goes back and forth, and you look up and the quarter's over. That didn't happen. We were able to get up, and they made some crucial turnovers that, like I said before, we were able to get easy buckets out of. We had layup after layup. Obviously, there at the end of the game, there was a situation where we had a 3-on-1. I had a kid take a 3 that I felt like if we'd have got to the bucket and got a layup, we'd have cut it to 1 at that point, but he wanted it tight. He's made that shot many times. If we had to do it over 100 out of 100 times, I'd tell that kid to get to the bucket 100 out of 100 times, but he didn't. But then 2 trips later, he comes down and he sticks the shot that ties it. So, there's a lot of things had to take place. We had to do a lot of things right, but in that, we had to force Chucky Doak to do some things that they weren't comfortable doing. And luckily for us, they threw it to us enough times that we were able to capitalize.
Would you label that game a classic?
Yeah, it seems like
you had 2 classics last week.
Yes, we did. And it seems like it comes down to that about every time we play a county team anymore, whether it's West Greene, Chucky Doak, or North Greene.
God, used to have some classics with North Greene too.
I said I've taken my best team, one of the best teams I ever had, and when Coach Hensley was coaching at North Greene, I beat him 27-25 at the buzzer. It's one of those deals where I don't know what it is about county teams playing each other, but there's that extra incentive, and everybody wants to win, and it makes it that much more difficult. But man, what an atmosphere at Chucky Doak Friday night. You don't get any better than that around here. I don't know how many people were in that place, but it had to be close to capacity.
I joked about that yesterday with, I don't remember who it was, whether it was Coach Broyles or Coach Early, and I said, if they really wanted to, they could have probably got everybody in trouble that time, because there's a sign on the wall that has the capacity number. I think it exceeded that. But I thought Monday's game with West Greene was a classic and a potential game of the year. I think Friday's game with Chucky Doak topped it because of just everything that was added in. The stakes were high, the intensity was high, the environment was electric, and a 19-point comeback was, I guess, executed. Fell short Monday night, ended up executing it and coming back and getting that win on Friday night. Just an unbelievable night of basketball. Rebels come out with the win in that one. Now you move into the district tournament. We talked about it a little bit at the beginning, so we'll talk about it in full. Before we do that, though, of course, we need to take a break first. So stick with us. We'll be right back to talk about the District 1 2A tournament after these messages here on First Horizons Green Sports Zone.
Here's a twist on your typical banking options. What if instead of choosing between a big bank or a small bank, you had one bank that's the best of both? That's First Horizon. Big bank muscle with small bank hustle. Big bank convenience and small bank connection. When the best of big meets the best of small, you get it all. To help you on the road to your horizon. First Horizon Bank.
For over 30 years, Tommy's Plumbing has proudly served the Tri-Cities with a personal touch, because we're not just plumbers, we're family. From simple faucet repairs to full plumbing repiping, we have the experience and expertise to get the job done right. We also specialize in water heater and tankless water heater installations, helping you find the perfect solution for your home. Our technicians stand behind their work and always leave your space clean and spotless. Looking for a plumber who's fast, professional, and reliable? Call Tommy's Plumbing and let our family take care of yours.
At many dealerships, you get what you'd expect. Games, gimmicks, and shady sales tactics. At Gateway Nissan in Greenville, expect the unexpected. Low prices, convenient service, and a great buying experience.
Get our Gateway exclusive lifetime powertrain warranty.
No worries for life.
You deserve the unexpected. It's the #1 reason you gotta get to Gateway.
Shop online at GatewayNissanGreenville.com.
Or take the super short drive down Highway 11E to Gateway Nissan in Greenville.
Welcome back to First Horizons Green Sports Zone, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Gary's Paint and Body Shop Terry Hoese Show, where we cover everything on the court with the South Greene Rebels basketball team. As always, joined here with Rebels head coach Terry Hoese. And it's the most exciting time of the year. We mentioned it in the first half. We're down to the district tournament now. You're competing in the play-in game against Happy Valley. Tomorrow night, we're not quite 24 hours away. We're about 28 hours from the time of this recording right now. But at the time you see this, we'll be under 24 hours. In under 24 hours, what do we expect tomorrow night when we tip off?
I expect a hard-fought game. Coach Williams does a good job with his kids. They're going to come in and play hard. And I assure you, just because they're the 6th seed, they're not going to come in and lay down. So we'll have to be ready to play. I know, last time we played them, the Gould's kid was sick and didn't play. And I think we were able to beat them by 22, but he makes a ton of difference for them. So we'll have to play well Thursday night, and that's okay too. At this point, if you're not playing well enough to advance, then it's time to go home anyway. So Happy Valley come in. I expect there'll be a decent little crowd here. First round, get to host it. And that's the first time this has happened. I can't remember ever a district tournament game first round being satellited. So kind of something a little new and a little bit of an advantage for us getting to play at home. So look forward to it.
Yeah, talk about that too, because you've not played in the play-in game in years past, and now that you are in it, it's the first year that it's a satellite game, so you're able to host that, which is special because those seniors aren't guaranteed another home game, and you get that here in this play-in game. So how much different is it not only being in the play-in game, but having a district tournament game at home?
It's obviously an advantage to the higher seed. So we didn't know this when we first started. This all came about from trying to find a district tournament site. So, we found somebody that was willing to, Westridge was willing to host this thing, but they didn't want to string it out over a bunch of nights. They said they would do it in 3-night periods, so kind of left us to the deal here that we didn't have a whole lot of choice but to satellite it. So it's going to play an advantage for us, hopefully. And it would be embarrassing to come in here tomorrow night and lose that first round in front of your home crowd. That's the only bad part. It puts a little bit of pressure on you to come in and compete, but should give an advantage not having to go to a different place and play. So hopefully everything works out.
And being at Westridge also, it's a gym that not many teams in this conference have competed in. I know Unicoi County probably has because they're over there in that area, but I don't know for a fact. I don't think West Greene ever has. I don't think Chucky Doak ever has. South Greene never has. So what's different about going into a gym that is so new to everybody?
Depends on how the layout is. Westridge is huge. It's not quite like a Tusculum University or somewhere like that where everything's open and behind and you've got open background. I remember several years ago we went down and played a summer camp down at Oak Ridge. The first time I'd ever had taken a bunch of kids down there, we were decent, and I thought we're going to go down there. And Lord, you walk into the place, and it reminds you of something like Thompson Bowling Arena. There's no backdrops, and I think the first 10 shots we took were air balls. So it takes you a little bit of time to acclimate to that shooting. But Westridge is big, but they do have walls, so maybe it won't be that big of a difference. But obviously, you walk into some place you've never played, it's different.
And it's, like you said too, there's a lot at stake for this game because it's a win or go home game. You don't really know who's the pressure on because, of course, you've got the pressure being at home and being the higher seed, and you can say Happy Valley doesn't have as much pressure, but they've still got pressure on them also because it's a win or go home game. So it's a question I've asked every coach this week. Level of 1 to 10, what's your excitement level?
Oh, it's 10. I love it. I got into education to educate kids, but I don't know over the years how much I would have enjoyed it without this. This is my piece, and I love to compete, still love to practice, still love to teach kids. Now that I'm in administration, I don't get that classroom experience, so this is my opportunity to teach kids things, and man, you get to tournament time, and it doesn't get any more exciting. So for me, it's 100% a 10 out of 10.
Level of 1 to 10, how nervous are you?
Probably about a 3. Done it long enough to know that eventually this thing's going to come to an end. You always want your kids to go as far as they can possibly go, but we all know that even if you go win a state championship here in a few weeks, it's over. So the fear is there that you could possibly be done tomorrow night, but on the flip side of that, who knows? You win tomorrow night and certain things line up. We may be playing 2 or 3 weeks from now. Who knows?
Looking at the bracket, too, before we close this out, you've got the game tomorrow night, 6 o'clock. The winner would play West Greene on Saturday at 4:30. The winner of that game would play in the championship on Monday. Is that right? Tuesday at 7:30. I knew 3 days in between didn't add up. And then the consolation, if you were to lose that game, would be Tuesday at 6 o'clock. Looking at the other side, Chucky Doe hosting Johnson County at the same time, Thursday at 6 o'clock. Winner of that plays Unicoi County at 3 o'clock on Saturday before West Greene. And the winner of South Greene and Happy Valley, again, championship Tuesday at 7:30. Consolation Tuesday at 6 o'clock. So 3 days in total, 2 days up at Westridge, and that's how your District 1 2A boys bracket looks. So it's exciting.
It's exciting. It's time.
It is.
Played, this thing starts back in the middle of November, and here we are in the middle of February. So this is what you play the whole season for right here.
And it doesn't seem like this season drug by any either. It flew by.
It has flown by.
The only times it ever drug by were when we had snow and everything, but outside of that, it has flown by this year.
And even the snow situation, having to play so many games last week, it feels like that's all we've done. So it's went quick.
And here we are now already at the district tournament. South Greene plays Happy Valley Thursday night, 6 o'clock. If you have the opportunity, come out and support the Rebels as they take on the Warriors with a chance to advance not only to the district tournament but into the region tournament. We didn't talk about that, but we don't want to look too far in advance. So that's all we got this week, unless you've got anything else to add.
Nope, that's it.
It's exciting.
Good. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. That's all we got this week. Thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Gary's Paint and Body Shop Terry Hoese Show. Look forward to seeing you next time here on First Horizons Green Sports Zone.